Okay. There we go. And maybe we can share it on Facebook from there.
Yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, my camera.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's live. Yeah. Okay, so I can share. Share Facebook. Okay. And YouTube.
All right, now I see people on there now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my eCam's still not working. Okay, all right.
Glitched.
Who cares?
Host.
Yeah, we're not doing funky.
No, we can do funky. Do whatever you want to do.
Hey, I don't have it pulled up, though.
Oh, there you go.
And I got a lot of new drum tracks for that. I just haven't put them together yet.
So I shared it out.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And
So I guess they kind of missed that. We'll have to do it again, Todd.
what part?
Of where you felt it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're quite connected to your body too, because the first one, you felt the first one here,
Mm-hmm.
kind of in your left shoulder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I'm playing an F, you guys, and this is the front of the heart. And also subtly, it's the bottom of the feet. When it's really loud in the room, you'll feel it vibrating on the bottom of your feet, an F. And then D, I played. And where'd you feel this one, Todd?
Is that a new one?
No, it's the one you felt second there.
Oh, in the belly?
You felt it in the belly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the back of the heart. So D is the front of the sacral, but it also, feel that in the back of the heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the outer field, it gets into the harmonics because we're a five-pointed star, and a five-pointed star is all fifths. And that's most of our music, our modern music, is based on those fifths. And so the outer field really connects to the harmonics of how the heart organizes its energy, and then the electromagnetics of the brain and the gut, all super connected, yeah?
Wow. I didn't know all that.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you look at it from a frequency perspective, when the heart frequency, the back of the heart, how you receive love, is the safe frequency that you value yourself in and also learn about value, it's quite interesting that those same frequencies show up.
So the front of the body, those are what we're experiencing. The back is how we receive?
Yeah, imagine that most of us are experiencing, well, most of the, I guess we can call them the 3D-ers, and no offense 3D-ers, anyway, that everything's personal, and everything is personalized in the front of the field, and they don't have an awareness of the back of the field, and everything is here in this 180-degree arena out in front of the body. So, and that's why I think the major is more, when you hear a major chord, it's like I'm doing things are happening, dun da da da. And minor is more mysterious, like our blues. You know, and blues are supposed to be sad, but it can be some of the most happiest music that we've ever really.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we had some waveforms up that we were going to bring in, and I was looking for, in the belly of the heart is the heart of the belly. Yes, absolutely. All right. So I'm going to look for something real quick, Todd, so I don't think I can talk at the same time unless you have any questions.
No, I'm good. Let's see what we got going here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a 6-star with an octahedron inside.
Okay, I can make that happen. But the octahedron's going to sound like I'm putting my elbow on the piano. So I'm going to play it, elongate it, so you can experience different parts of it as we go through.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just going to be on YouTube. Facebook is having problems.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And gold platinum with glitter. Leave it to an ET.
We can work with the platinum. We're combining colors there and getting into the endocrine system where we make platinum, we make gold, we make rhodium, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the diamond sound like is a square wave pattern. I'll definitely play that sound for you. I think somebody was asking there.
Mm-hmm.
So the diamond pattern sounds like this. Let's get it up higher. And it's a square wave pattern. It's a minor pattern or diminished. And so these notes are 90 degrees apart. And so notice there's some tension there. You really won't hear it properly until I resolve it. See how you feel like you can breathe now?
Mm-hmm.
And this one's in the heart, so in the front of the heart. So I'm putting that tension in the front of the heart. And then we're resolving it there too. All right. Where are my brain waves? Goodness gracious.
Pink.
Pink and the Chiron gong over there. And pink has a lot to do with the muscular system. So pink does a lot of issues, helps with inflammation.
Mm.
And inflammation, of course, can be one of the biggest issues in healing anything, because most of our diseases have about a 90% inflammation connection to them.
Mm.
So pink and the 11th part of the field, or the pink part of the field in the joint system. So how your joints work, and pink. And years ago, we came up with this thing, different elements that are hard to explain. And I think a lot of those elements are about feeling powerless.
Mm-hmm.
And when we feel powerless, we invite pain into the system. And when we feel powerful, we really don't have pain in the system. So in the 11th auric field, just one layer in from your outer field is the pink part of it. And feeling empowered or powerless and the state of your joints kind of really functionally go together.
That explains a lot.
Well, man, I thought I had some brain waves. So why don't we do this, Todd? I'm going to pull up the program, and we're going to write a brainwave really quickly.
Okay.
A brainwave generator, and while we're talking, I'm just going to show it to them so they can see it.
A brainwave pattern. Is that what you said?
A brainwave generator. So the brainwaves represent low frequencies that are very close to each other.
Mm.
And what your brain does is reads the number of wahs. And so there are two frequencies that go wah, 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 and your brain reads the number of wahs in between those.
Mm.
And what they're seeing on the screen right now is my brainwave generator that I created.
Wow.
And since we're going to work in the heart a lot, I'm going to go ahead and really bring some of these heart frequencies over. All right. And so when we put these frequencies together, what happens is they create this wah-wah pattern. And that wah-wah pattern literally guides your brain into a brain state. And if you're familiar with the brain states, of course, we got the beta state where we're alert, and we got the alpha state where alert relaxation. And that's when we're starting to get into it a little bit more. And then we get into theta, and that's where our imagination really opens up in theta.
Mm.
And not play it, sorry. And then delta, and that's where we're going to go today, is delta.
Yeah, we're going to delta.
Delta is the sleep state, and so that's where the body heals itself the most. And so, what they can see on on the on the computer here is I have a couple frequencies, D and D sharp, and I'm basically going to oh, let me fix this. Yep, I'm going to bounce this real quick so we can play with it in the other program here. All right, so there it is, 153. Okay. So we're taking you behind the scenes a little bit, but okay, there we go. All right, so back to us here. Well, that's copying, and then we'll get started really, but we'll work with that deep brainwave about receiving love, receiving care, opening the back of the heart, and also our value in the front as we bring those diamond patterns and those those 5-pointed star patterns in that people were talking about when we were first up.
Cool.
Yep. So this will be done here in a minute.
So it's generating a brain wave.
Yeah, actually, so what I did is I took the note D and I cut it into 11 different Ds that are very close together.
Wow.
In sound, so they will create this wah-wah effect. And the distance between the wah-wahs really depicts what your brain does. So these distances for these sounds give us a 2.2 to 2.8 hertz of the brain, basically. So it will put your brain in that state. And we're not usually used to being alert in that state. So it's probably, they discovered that when you're in the delta state, that's when your body collapses charge. You know, when Morgan talks about the 0 point, you know, a lot of it happens when we sleep. Our body naturally heals itself when we sleep, when we move away from the dialogue's energy.
Right.
So this is a way to put us in that state. The monks put themselves in this state, and they walk around the stupa, and they're literally, their brains are asleep, but they're awake. Let's see here. All right, I got it. All right, I got what I need, man. So
cool. So their brains are asleep while they're walking.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yep. And they literally will walk around the stupa for, I mean, maybe days sometimes. And it puts their brain in the delta, so it's like a walking meditation. And I guess they're chanting too. The ones I saw do it in Asia, in Thailand, were all chanting when they went around it. And they would do it for big festivals, so they would be walking around it the whole day.
Wow.
And then the whole community would join them and walk around it also.
Wow.
Alrighty, let's see here. Oh, somebody's got us on their Bose surround sound, so they're going to love that coming up. When we get deep into the experience here. All right.
That's Chanda.
Chanda.
Down in Corpus Christi.
Oh, nice. We were there. Yeah. Have to connect some friends down there that we have. Well, any questions before we just kind of...
I don't know. I'm following you.
Any questions out there before we kind of get into it?
I don't see anything.
And maybe we should explain to him, that everybody, why we're kind of doing this, because we're going to put out some sound later that comes from my archive for people to work with for, a couple hours. I think there's at least 4 or 5 hours of what we're going to put out and play over and over again. But we wanted to make sure that people understood that you might not want to operate machinery or drive a vehicle, because it can put your brain in a very sleepy type of state, and that can be problematic for operating vehicles and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to put that on the video so people know not to listen to it in the car. Alrighty. All right, let's show them. Let's see here. Let's show them on the gongs before we get started.
You want me to do it?
I got it. You're still live there.
I'm live. Test, test, test. Yeah, there you go. Now they can see him. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, and it's even got a green screen Sology behind it. Do you see that?
Does it?
Yeah, it comes on with different lights. Certain lights it works with, certain lights it doesn't.
Oh, I see it. How crazy is that? How did that happen?
I don't know. Well, that was the background for you, so... Oh, that's cool.
Learn something every day.
We do. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, if there's no other questions or input, I think we're about ready to drop it down for... What do you think, Todd? Next, like, 25, 30 minutes, 33 minutes or something?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All righty.
I found out today that Chiron is Sagittarius.
Chiron is ruled in the sign of Sagittarius.
Ruled in Sagittarius.
Yeah, we definitely believe that. And Chiron being that wounded healer. And Chiron is that D sharp, by the way, which is that very good for inflammation. That same frequency. And Chiron sound is very fascinating here. And I'll play, of course you're going to hear it. But on the keys here, this is Chiron's 2 notes. And what they do is kind of cancel each other out. So Chiron holds the energy of awareness and it's harmonic. So Chiron's a very different gong than the other gongs because of this. Because when you're playing it, it's low frequency, shifts away, and this A comes out of it right here. This that starts to shine out of it. It's a real trip.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we might as well. All right. So I'm going to kill our mics, and if you want to lay down or something, Todd.
I'm cool.
Okay. Yeah.
released some DMT. Either that or I had a plant medicine flashback. That's some. Is that what you do in here when you have clients?
Yeah, that's what we do, and online too. You know, we do the same thing. Uh-oh. Getting some.
What was that?
That's this.
Voices.
Check. There we go.
Yeah, that's quite and unique. I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, we call it homeopathic music because it works with the waveforms. It really, you kind of write it. You write the whole thing, really. Yeah, and a lot of the music you're going to hear when Todd puts the Brainwave stuff out for you guys, you're going to hear what we record in my sessions, and then we take that music and cut it up so we can kind of elongate the experience, I guess, you know, to put the Brainwave on for hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard the Brainwave.
Mm-hmm. And that one was really simplistic. It can get a lot more complex.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that one was centered around D in your sacral and also the back of the heart. So it was getting us to come back to that place. And
is anybody else doing this?
You know, I think
with the music to the front and the back, and with that intention. And
not that I know of, really.
I've never.
Yeah.
Heard of anything like it.
You know, it's kind of like bringing energy work to sound and bringing sound to energy work. And I think, you know, if we want to heal with music, we kind of have to bring the psychology of it, because music is something you feel. It's not something you think up.
True.
You know?
That's right.
Oh, and somebody's feeling lots of pulsing behind the heart. Awesome. Absolutely. Yeah, we were playing some scalar waves. We were playing that square wave pattern, and then we would go back into harmonic patterns for that 5-pointed star. And, you know, that square wave pattern and that tetrahedron, same reality. Those are literally an 8-pointed star. And the star tetrahedron, I'm pretty sure, I may be confused on that one, but when we get into the 3D geometry. So I think this is how it started, Todd. I was in college for music, and I was studying astrology. And in astrology, we have different aspects come from the relationship of the frequencies. And so, literally, the teacher says we're going to divide scales by equal parts today. And I looked at him and I said, that's geometry. And he said, exactly. And I said, whoa. I think that was like in 2000. You know, somebody wants to know what my flute is.
The last one.
The last one, that was B flat.
B flat.
Okay, yeah, that was B flat. That's this flute here. It's a walnut flute. Beautiful sound. Some of the other flutes you heard were my alto flute. That's the metal flute.
Yeah.
And somebody's asking if I have a YouTube of anything of sorts. You're going to see it here, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you have a website though where you got a lot of this stuff too.
Yeah, the website for the personal work that we do, and you know, we write a lot of stuff for guided meditations for people too and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you actually, I've seen you do that. You actually, they come in here, they lay down, you do this, and they do the same thing. They create the music. They write the music. You do it, and then you send them
a SoundCloud link.
Yeah, you send them a copy of it.
Yeah, we mix and master it, and then we use it for other things, so they get the benefit of that from the session, and they can kind of dig into it more also. Yeah.
Yeah, man, people dig it. This is good stuff.
Yeah, sound is so powerful, isn't it? Especially when it's not as pretty. I mean, the elevator music, when we listen to that, it doesn't really change anything, but when we go out of the tension and resolution all the time, it really breaks through.
Well, it makes a lot of sense.
I think more of my pretty music is when I play with you and we do the funky stuff, and we're trying to play in the key, you know, instead of trying to play all around it.
Yeah, but like when you were doing that major, I think it was A major and then minor, I've heard that. I've actually heard that, and I was thinking of like a Ray Charles or something. Like
the
intro.
Oh yeah, so
like having I guess what do you call it? Resolution. You resolve it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That tension.
Mm-hmm.
It's like church. That's the nature of the universe. That's the nature of music. That's the nature of men and women. Ladies, this is kind of what you sound like. And you break up things. You bring up all the tension. And guys, this is what you sound like. You want to resolve everything, and that's why we're terrible listeners, because we're trying to resolve everything. And the feminine energy brings up the tension.
Someone's got to start this thing, right?
Well, I think that's why I always say women have more energy than men do. They get things done. They have access to a lot more energy. And does that mean that men are more lazy? I think we want to resolve things. So if that's what that means, then maybe.
Yeah, more energy. Well, they're the inspiration.
I say.
So,
Hey, man, tension will fire something up in you. That's for sure. Alrighty. So yeah, look out for what Todd's going to put out later, maybe this evening.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they're there, I'll put them out.
Cool.
Yeah, rather than explain it, but it'll be this stuff and similar stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about the website. It's the Quantum Resonance Institute.com is what it is. And if anybody wants to find that, they can find me. I'm sure everybody can find everybody these days.
Google it. Google it.
But I think we want to get on and do more of this weekly, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean, just based on the fact that we're not multi-streaming because of the problems we had, and we're only on YouTube, which is pretty limited. There's a lot of interest, and I think it speaks for itself. I think people will get a lot out of it.
Yeah, we're gearing up to definitely start like an advanced music program where we help you make the best possible music, whether it's producing it yourself, making your own drone sounds, or even singing with your singing bowls and stuff like that. There's so many ways that we can dive deeper into the waveform music that breaks up energy and that tension and resolution. I think it's a great story and a great place to start for music.
Yeah, I just think having it on, as long as you're not driving.
Yeah, don't drive with it.
But like just having it on, I think would be kind of like a audible feng shui, like in your house, and you're just, just there's something about it, especially now that you've explained the pretty music versus the other half of it, the polarity of it, or whatever you want to call it, and how that plays, and that's actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, one time I had allergies really bad, and Serena said she didn't want to see me for a whole month because my nose just dripped like a faucet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote a piece of music that I kind of lived with, and like you said, I put it in the background of my little apartment here in town when we didn't live together, and I would play it like 24/7, and I have no more allergies anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I have it on SoundCloud.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
See, that's cool,
mm-hmm.
because I know it's coming, and I know, like everything else, we're remixing the Akashic basically, and so this is what I love about it too. Is first of all, I think we all know sound and frequency is coming back in terms of I guess you would say a healing mechanism or alignment mechanism. Secondly, the thing's made up on the spot, so it's a spontaneous creation, which is even more powerful in my opinion. So yeah, I think this is definitely something that we should hear more of.
It's like the jazz of sound healing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can remember listening to subliminal tapes back in the early 80s.
Right.
and other types of music that was meditation music, and yeah, some of it's nice. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
it's all about, for me anyway, remixing what we've been given, and that means we're applying our experience as humans, um, you know, to put the little spin on it, right? I mean, it's fascinating.
Absolutely. I think somebody has even mentioned somatic release.
Mm.
Sound and entrainment is a big word in the sound world. And we're talking about brain entrainment. And so, re-entraining our brain to a different state is to first recognize the state where we're out of organization, and then to entrain into the state of organization. And that's what we do with the sound healing. Sometimes I'll have you read your field in the binary and figure out where it's really off, and I will present you with that in the sound healing. And then you'll give me where it really wants to be and really wants to work, and I'll give you that also. So we'll start through this journey of going through those frequencies, those issues, um, and then kind of come into this place where it creates this awareness of going through the journey. Because I think sound helps you kind of go through it emotionally.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Chanda Sparkles said she would be interested in getting the waveforms to mix hers up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of what you're going to be doing too, is the working. You were saying this earlier, working with sound healers.
Yeah.
And adding
Right.
or offering, yeah, their own spin to what they're doing, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of the sound healers, and this is no offense to you guys, didn't necessarily go to music school, and that's totally okay. And doing it intuitively takes you so far. But what I want to share is a couple shortcuts musically and in the physics of sound that can help you take your own instruments. In my course, I have you, if you have a live instrument, I have you get a tuner, because I want you to know what frequency it is. Even if you want to play with the numbers, we can get into that. But if we want to create a square wave pattern to break up energy somewhere in the body, there's only really 3 of those squares. If we take the 12 notes in the chromatic scale and we divide it by 4, those 4 notes, we get it 3 times. So there's only really 3 of them, and it's not as complicated as it's made. And most of this type of waveform music is not stuff you hear on the radio. It would never sell on the radio. I keep telling people, how do I sell music that isn't pretty to your ear? It's because it's therapeutic. And people will call me and ask me and say, was it supposed to sound that eerie? And I'm like, yes. Yes, it was.
Was what you just played, what you just did, there was nothing eerie about that.
Well, I didn't go as deep. And
Okay.
sometimes we go really deep, and those sounds really will take you, to those eerie sounds. Like when we watch movies, we
I've
know
heard 'em.
something's going to happen.
Yeah, I've heard them.
You know?
I've heard them when you're in here.
Mhm.
I've heard they get loud and they get, yeah, like a scary
Intense.
movie. kind
Yeah,
of thing.
scary movie, intense.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting in the waveforms, and I think people are using waveforms to heal, aren't they? Like scalar waves and machines that make
yeah.
those waves. But this is audible, so you're actually using your instruments to make the waves.
Well, and there's more. Yeah, there's more frequencies involved.
Yeah, and I'll give one thing away to you guys, is that when you change the bass note in the room of any of your concerts, no matter what instrument you're playing, you change the harmonics of the sound. So the lowest frequency in the room really builds what the sound is going to sound like in the harmonics of your ear. So, that's one way to take the instruments like the gongs and make them sound completely different by changing the bass note in the room. And so now the relationship between the bass note and the gongs are talking in a different way. So that's one of the shortcuts that I wish a lot of sound healers would know, and their stuff would never sound the same. You guys would sound totally different with just that one thing of changing the bass note. So like my singing bowl people, I try to get them to get an Ableton program and make drones and nature sounds for themselves, and then they change the bass note and work with their bowls in relationship to that note. And it gives them a lot more to play with, because I think we're playing the human energy field. We're not playing the instruments. And That's why getting the colors and shapes, it's like asking, where do we want to feel it? Where do we want it to resonate?
Playing the human energy fields. I like that.
Hmm. Well, and that's kind of that chart that I showed you before. You know, and if this is where it resonates in the body, if this is where it resonates in your field, then that really, you're really playing the human energy field. And imagine your chakra system or your energy system or your psychological system is all really tied together.
Mm.
It's all tied to it. And when people give me the shapes, colors, and polarities, I read it back to them in kind of a biofeedback way.
Mm-hmm.
And I read it back in the worst possible way first.
Mm-hmm.
The most disorganization that can come from those two combinations. Because that's what we're building is an awareness field of how to get organized. And to do that, we have to go through the disorganization. And I do think that's why in our modern music, we don't like to listen to tension. And prolonging tension can be uncomfortable. I've had people come into the office with anxiety and tell me they hated the music. And then I ask them where their anxiety is, and they say, I don't know.
Mm.
And I say, good, because I'm not here to be liked.
Mm. I like that. Spoken like a true new healer.
Well, you know, anxiety especially can be dealt with music because, you know, we get very sensitive in the anxiety world and putting our worth out into things instead of embodying the worth. And I've seen a lot of people use the music for anxiety and have great results for it.
Makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. But I have to get them over the whole idea that it's supposed to be pretty.
Right. Well, if you listen to classical music, I love classical music. If you listen to that,
Right.
They do this.
Yeah, it goes in and out
Yeah.
of
Right.
you know,
Yeah, you'll have the pretty, and then you'll have.
the dark forest.
And I know enough about the few chords I know, like E minor,
Right.
A minor,
Mm.
F minor. Or I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, Todd, you're calling out good chords today. That was it. That was E minor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm seeing it totally differently now. It's crazy.
I think once you start realizing it's in the body,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when I was in college, I was in a jazz composition course, and it was just me and the teacher one day, and I asked him why, when I played this note over the chord, over this chord, this one right here, right? I said, why does that make me feel in my body? And he shut the piano. He looked around the room and said, man, I don't know, but when you figure that shit out, let me know.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The ancient ones coming forth. That's what's happening.
Mm.
We're rewriting everything. Well, this is a great, this is a great method because there's not a lot of, this is how you do it. In fact, it's I don't know. It's just it fits to me. It really does. Something.
I mean, right. I'm always interested in like the sound healers that can sing, and when they're playing singing bowls and stuff, I always find that's a really fun combination. And taking any instrument and turning it into a sound healing instrument is literally just an instrument that resonates with the body.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes that's the voice, and that's a beautiful place to start. But yeah, there's so much we can do with our ear, but with a little bit of education, there's so much we can play with.
Yeah.
Especially in that space kind of space of making. I don't know. It kind of sounds like space. You guys ever hear that recordings of deep space, and it sounds like a rainforest? Did you see that when it came out?
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's like on YouTube,
Yeah,
recordings of deep space.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it literally sounds like a rainforest. You're hearing these high whoop frequencies and like bird chirps and stuff. And I always found birds would surround my house when I played a lot of low frequencies. The birds would come.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Especially the ravens here.
Well, our friend over here in VOC, she said that she took her Bluetooth out to her horses, and the horses all gathered around.
Oh, wow.
And then somebody else, their dog, came and sat down in front of the speaker.
I've had a lot of dogs really love the music. Even someone told me they were going to refer a Chihuahua issue to me recently, and I was like, "Oh no, Chihuahuas!" But yeah, the dogs are really sensitive to the sound and the stress relief that comes with it. Yeah, especially service dogs I found. So I'll call, we'll do sound, and the dogs will be getting the treatment too.
Wow. The Chihuahua healer.
Oh no!
The Chihuahua whisperer.
Oh please, please no! That's scary.
Chihuahua.
That's scary. Chihuahuas are crazy.
I know, man.
You know,
Believe me.
I would like to be like a cartoon Chihuahua. I think that's pretty cool.
Speedy Gonzales. Yeah.
Slowpoke.
Mm.
Well,
Right.
alrighty. Well, thanks for everybody for coming out. That was super fun.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And we'll see you soon.